Good day, good day, good day, everybody. Good day, Linda, the beautiful mountains of Colorado. Good day. I hope you're doing well. So, something weird happened. So, I'm not sure where today's show is actually streaming. I'm not sure if it's streaming on my page on Facebook, but we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep it going because that's what we do when these little glitches happen. So I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to SIP with Rev Melissa. I am Rev Melissa, and SIP stands for Spirit and Practice, where we practice because practice makes progress. Yes, it does. Practice makes progress. Thank you, Linda, for letting me know you're on Facebook. So I guess we're cooking with gas. We'll see. So I'm an ordained interfaith minister. As introduction, if you don't know who I am, I'm also a licensed religious science practitioner. I'm the spiritual director, senior minister at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living in New York. And I am a spiritual life coach. So if you need support in your life, just reach out to me. You could DM me and we can set up some time to talk. So take a breath, Rev Melissa. I am breathing with you, Linda, and everyone else who is watching. So I was sitting with today's SIP theme for the week. And sometimes I get the download. Sometimes, something might just happen out in the world that will inspire a series. Sometimes I might be in a conversation with somebody and that inspires a series, Lindsay. It could come from anywhere. And sometimes it just comes from what's present for me and how I am feeling. And so that's where this week's theme is coming from. It's coming from how I'm feeling. And so I want to share. Do you hear my cat? My cat has his favorite toy and he's just having a fit right now. So he just laid out on the floor. I wish I could show y'all him, but I don't want to mess up the whole situation here. But Davey's having a time right now, and I think he's just happy because the girls are home and because of the Jewish holiday. Anyway, so what's present for me? So yesterday I shared that I lost a very dear friend on Sunday. He passed away, and it's been really challenging, especially because we were supposed to have dinner tomorrow, and we hadn't seen each other in a good while, and now he's not on this physical plane. And so that led me to just being in that feeling. I always say, feel your feelings. And so I think it's important that we feel our feelings when we go through a loss. So this week, our series is grief. It is grief because that's how I am feeling. I am grieving the loss of a very dear friend. He was like a father figure to me. He is the person who saw something in me, saw my light, saw my potential, saw my gifts, saw my abilities. And it's funny because yesterday when I was talking about him, everything went out, right? I lost the Wi-Fi. I got kicked out of StreamYard. Everything just went black. But y'all hung in there with me until I was able to get back in. And I just took that as a sign that Darwin is here he's an angel now. And he is always with me. He is part of my ancestry, although we were not blood related. He is still part of my spiritual family. And so I'm grieving the loss of his physical presence, of being able to text him and talk to him, and all that wonderfulness that I experienced knowing him since 1986. So In talking about grieving, I always start with the definition of words. So, the definition for grief is a cause or occasion of keen distress or sharp sorrow. Keen distress or sharp sorrow. And the origins of the word grief comes from the word grieve, and it's Latin. That's most okay. And it means the origins of the words mean to burden and heavy. And I think most of us who have experienced a loss of any kind, even like a loss of a job, a loss of a friend because a relationship ends, right? There is a heaviness, right? It feels heavy on our heart. It could feel heavy on our heads, right? It feels like some pressure, right? That's how it feels for me. There's a heaviness, a thickness in the environment. And so I started doing some digging around about grief, and I discovered all of these articles about grief as a spiritual practice. Grief as a spiritual practice. Now, that was news to me because I wouldn't think of it in that context. I wouldn't think of grief as a spiritual practice. So I found this article on the website Spirituality and Practice called The Spiritual Path of Grief. The Spiritual Path of Grief. And it had a bunch of quotes and then it had a story. And so I want to share a couple of the quotes and I want to share the story because it really resonated with me. So one of the quotes is, "Grief is love not wanting to let go." Grief is love not wanting to let go. And that's by Earl Grollman from a book called Living with Loss. And that really resonates with me because I don't want to let go of Darwin. I don't want to let go. And that's, that's that connection, that love that never leaves us, right? It's always there. But it's that physical form that I desire, that presence of the physical form. Then another quote that really resonated with me. No bond in closer union knits to human hearts than fellowship and grief. No bond in closer union knits to human hearts than fellowship and grief. And that is so true because we come together in fellowship when we lose someone. Many times we don't see people for a long time until someone passes away. And then it's like a reunion, right? You see all these people you haven't seen in years at a funeral, right? And that's the fellowship and grieving. We need each other to move through our grieving process. So I have received so many phone calls from people these last couple of days that I haven't spoken to in years, who heard about Darwin's passing and are reaching out to check in with me. And I'm also have made calls to people to tell them of Darwin's passing, who I haven't spoken to in a long time. But there's a fellowship, right? There's this bond that Darwin had. Darwin was a people person. Oh my God. If there was a spokesperson for extrovert and people and loving bringing people together and having a good time, it would be a picture of Darwin. So speaking of a picture of Darwin, I just want to share with you his picture. And that was a picture of us. We went out to lunch last year at a restaurant in Dobbs Ferry called Half Moon. And it was in October. We were celebrating my birthday last year. And so we were sitting outside and it was cool. It was warm enough to do that. The sun was beautiful and we was just enjoying each other's company. And so that's Darwin Davis. Love you, love you, love you. That is the picture of love right there. Love of people, love of life in a big way. I see you, Lindsay. Lindsay's sharing that she went to a wedding in June because I told everyone I don't want to see anyone at a funeral. Then within 2 months, the person I sat next to got hit by a car and died. I feel so blessed that I went to the wedding. Yes, Lindsay. We never know. We never know. It's so unexpected. Life is so I wrote this down. Oh, it must have been in my journal that I wrote it down. That life can be so unexpected. So let me share the story. Also on the spirituality and practice website in the article, The Spiritual Path of Grief. So this is the story. Sharing the sorrow. A story that reminds us that no matter where we live, we can participate in the grief of the family. This is a traditional Zen Buddhist story from the recent book, As You Grieve, Consoling Words from Around the World by Aaron Zira. And here's the story. Soyen Shaku, the abbot, each morning took a walk, accompanied by his companion from the monastery to the nearby town. One day, as he passed the house, he heard a great cry from within it. Stopping to inquire, he asked the inhabitants, "Why are you all wailing so?" They said, "Our child has died, and we are grieving." The abbot, without hesitation, sat down with the family and started crying and wailing himself. As they were returning to the monastery, the abbot's companion asked, "Master, is this family known to you?" "No," the abbot answered. "Why then, master, did you also cry?" The abbot said, "So that I may share their sorrow." So that I may share their sorrow. I really so appreciate that, because sorrow is something that we can share and support each other through. And I know for myself, it is something that I need when I'm going through a grieving process. I need to share that sorrow with others. And I'm blessed that I have people in my life that I can lean into to do that. So that's really all that I have today. In the middle of SIP, I'm in a conference, CSL, Centers for Spiritual Living Ministers Gathering Conference, yesterday and today. So I just took a little break so I could come on SIP and be with you all today. So thank you all for being with me today. I do have a couple of things that I want to share for some joy news. I mentioned this before, and so I want everyone to know that, let me find it. Tomorrow, Wednesday, there's going to be a live fundraiser for Sekou. It's being hosted by Fee King and Milana Snow. Sekou will appear live. So if you want to see Sekou, please join in the conversation tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It's on Instagram Live. It's on Milana Snow's Instagram page. So please go there. The information is on my page on Facebook, and you can see the flyer here. I know Sekou would love to look into the comments and see the Congregation of Joy represented there and the Hero Tribe there also. So please join Sekou for that tomorrow at 6, what did I say? 6 p.m. Eastern Time. All right? All right. So that's the joy news that I want to share today. Everyone have a wonderful day. Remember, grieving is a process and it can also be a spiritual practice. Can also be a spiritual practice. Love you, Lindsay. Good day, Wayne. I'll take those golden bubbles of peace. Love, love, and blessings to you too, Linda. I so appreciate that. I appreciate the fellowship in my period of sorrow and grief. So I hope this resonates with someone. Someone somewhere is grieving. Someone somewhere has experienced a loss now or in the past. And guess what? We all will experience loss. So peace and blessings, everybody. Thank you, Simone. Peace and justice. We're living life in joy. Yes, we are. Even in the midst of sorrow, we live in joy, connected to our yes.